Hi everyone, good day, actually not evening. Usually it's evening when I'm out there. But how are y'all doing? Happy New Year to you all, 2016. Isn't that exciting? I'm so, oh my gosh, so happy for this year because I know great things are coming. A lot of good information has been coming this way about major changes, significant changes that's coming to this planet, humanity, everything. And I wanted to basically start this video off with announcing the webinar that I did in December. It's really cool because in this specific webinar, which is the Secure Creditor, I go into depth with a history of what's going on right now, what's happening with us right now, how our DNA is changing, how we're all shifting, you see. And it was a lot different from the last webinar that I did because I really get into depth from a spiritual point of view, metaphysical point of view, in accordance with other gurus such as Sheldon Neidel, who is a contactee of the Syrians, and many other gurus who are actually talking about that there's going to be a major shift happening this year. Major. And you can tell by how everything is changing due to our currency is shifting. That is a big factor right there. And the BRICS countries, including Russia, who's part of it, India, Brazil, I think France is one of them. They're all moving away from the FRN, the IMF, or International Monetary Funds department. They're moving away from the drug cartel money of the FRNs, basically. And they're all coming together to start utilizing gold as their currency, and Russia and China being one of them. Okay, a couple of them, I mean. So there's some major changes going on, and you can actually tell that if you've ever heard of Bitcoin, that is a specific digital currency that is underway right now. I mean, it's been used for some time, and it's becoming even more readily used. I've been hearing that there are ATMs in Toronto now, and in Texas and many other parts of the world. They actually have Bitcoin ATMs now. How exciting, right? You never would have thought. So just watching that, looking at that, what is going on, because people are moving away. And have you noticed the dollar is gaining a lot of, it has been rising a lot. Here in Mexico, it is now 17 pesos to the dollar. Now, it used to be, I remember back in the day, a few years ago, even a couple years ago, it was like 11 to 12 pesos to the dollar, and it has gone up so much. But the freaky thing about this, from what I'm hearing from other sources, is that is the sign that when it goes up so much, that means it's obviously going to disappear out of nowhere. It's just going to disappear. It's not going to be no longer needed. And the reason why they are rising is, one of the reasons is Putin. Vladimir Putin is actually getting rid of the FRNs. He's selling the bonds, I believe, like giving them back to the U.S. Like, here, take them. We don't need them. So there's a lot of changes, and we see it drastically happening here in Mexico, with the currency, the shifting of the currency. What I like to share with you also is that my experience lately, knowing what's happening right now, we're actually moving our money into Bitcoin and gold by using BitGold, which is www.bitgold.com. This is something that you might want to look into, by actually changing your money into gold and having it sit there in gold, and golden vaults, and it's connected to your MasterCard. So anyway, I talk about this. I don't want to get sidetracked, but I talk about this on the last webinar about what you should do about moving your money, and other alternatives as far as a bank that we're actually using, a private bank that is based in the United Kingdom, that we're actually using, that issues out a checkbook, which is really awesome. A lot of my students have actually turned me on to that, by the way, so I want to thank you for that. That's one alternative. There's several alternatives, and they help you to discharge your debt as well. Because now we're finding out that playing with the FRN notes are knowingly they are all debt currency, has no backup at all, like gold and silver. The reason why, and I have questions like, well, why do you take FRN notes? Well, the reason why we take FRN notes at this time is only because you guys are only using FRN notes. You're not really, majority of you are not aware to using gold or Bitcoin or any of that. So you've been using FRN notes, okay? And you're not moving money from, your private institution and everything that is monetizing your signatures and all that. So a lot of you aren't aware. This is for a lot of the beginners and the newbies out there. Not too newbie. I mean, you got to know, if you know who I am and you know what I'm talking about, you have a little background on what it is that we do, which is to help you to become a secure creditor, operating on the private side. And by doing that, it's just basically knowing who you are, realizing who you are. That's pretty much what it is, knowing that, the true history about what the Federal Reserve notes are, what these funny money notes are. And this is also including Australian dollars, Canadian dollars, all these little funny notes that have no real backup at all, because only your hard work and labor, that is all it is. Your sweat and toil. They're only IOU notes, okay? And by realizing that, your signature, again, is connected to your birth certificate. The birth certificate is a bond that was created. It was created when you were unknowingly being registered. Your birth certificate was being registered to the U.S. corporation, okay, which created the vessel or the government franchise name, all in capital letters. Now, sometimes it's all in caps, sometimes not. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. What it does mean is that, yes, your person was registered with the United States corporation, making you, or your name, the person or a corporation, so you're able to do commerce with them. That's why. Because otherwise they wouldn't be able to really touch you. So in order for them to say that you have a debt, you're ordered to pay this, you're ordered to pay that, they turn you into a corporation first in order to have any dealings with you. Very interesting fact. And I also want to share something very interesting here. There was an article. Let me find out here. I gotta get into my big screen here, my big computer. There is an article by one of my students actually shared with me a very important article regarding a U.S. judge in Alaska who's waken up to this and actually sent this information out to the FBI. Let's see, hold on. Let me find it. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much. I have some really cool fans out there. And students. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and read this to you. I think it's very, very important for you all that is inquiring about whether you should become a secure creditor or not, and you even want to know what this is all about. So anyway, let me tell you what it is. Okay, so it says, judge calls for U.S. Marshals and FBI to arrest Congress and Obama. On November 28, 2015, Alaska State Judge Anna Maria Reisinger addressed an open letter to all federal agents, including the FBI and U.S. Marshals, to arrest Congress, the President, and the Secretary of Treasury. She goes into incredible detail on the fraud that has been committed. Anyone who reads this is sure to learn at least something. Below is a text, and you can open the original PDF here. This has been encouraged to be shared widely. Okay, so this is basically the letter. This is really, really interesting. So please pay attention, everybody. Alaska, dear federal agents. Okay, let me move this up. I'm addressing this letter in this way because it is my understanding that it will be read by members of both the FBI and the U.S. Marshal Service. It is also my understanding that you have available for examination a wet ink signed copy of the illustrated affidavit of probable cause entitled, "You Know Something is Wrong When," an American Affidavit of Probable Cause, as backup reference and evidence. Since the publication of the affidavit, a plethora of new supporting documentation and evidence has come to light. We found, for example, that on June 30th, 1864, the members of Congress, acting as a board of directors of a private, mostly foreign-owned corporation doing business as the United States of America Incorporated, changed the meaning of state in small letters to state, which is S as in capital, and then the rest letter TAT, which is lowercase, and United States, which begins with the U in all in capital letter, and knighted lowercase, and S uppercase, states tates lowercase, to mean District of Columbia Municipal Corporation. Like the 1862 change of the meaning of the word person to mean corporation cited in our affidavit, these special coded meanings of words render a drastically different picture of the world around us. It turns out that your personal bank account is actually a corporate bank account. The Colorado State Court is actually the Colorado District of Columbia Municipal Corporation Court. If you are shocked to learn these facts, you are not alone. So are millions of other Americans. These changes were made 150 years ago and tucked away in reams of boring meeting minutes and legalistic gobbledygook meant to be applied only to the internal workers of a private governmental services corporation and its employees. Let's see here, let's see better. There was no public announcement, just as there was no public announcement or explanation when Congress created municipal citizenship, known as U.S. citizenship, in 1868. Properly, technically, even to this day, this form of citizenship applies only to those born in the District of Columbia, Guam, Puerto Rico, and other insular states, so there was no real reason to educate the general public about the topic. As Congress was secretly using the labor and the private property assets of these citizens as collateral, backing the corporate debts of the United States of America Incorporated, there was plenty of reason to obscure this development. At the end of the Civil War, it would have been very unpopular to reveal that they were simply changing gears from private sector slave ownership to public sector slave ownership. You may be surprised to learn that slavery was not abolished by 13th or any other amendment to any constitution then or now. Instead, slavery was redefined as a punishment meted out to criminals. Look it up and read it for yourselves. It remains perfectly legal to enslave criminals, and it was left to Congress to define who the criminals were, because Congress was given plenary power over the District of Columbia and its citizenry by the original Constitution of the Republic and could do whatever it liked within the district and the Washington, D.C. municipalities. A child picking dandelions on the sidewalk could be arbitrarily defined as a criminal and enslaved for life by the renegade Congress functioning as the government of the District of Columbia and as the board of directors for the District of Columbia Municipal Corporation. But for starters, Congress simply defined U.S. citizens as debt slaves under the 14th Amendment of their corporation's article and bylaws, which they deceptively named the Constitution of the United States of America. The actual Constitution was and is still called the Constitution of the United States of America, but most people untrained in the law and trusting what they believed to be their government didn't notice the difference between the Constitution for the United States of America, which was in United, U would be lowercase, and then States of America, uppercase, lowercase, and the Constitution of the United States of America. I say U because the U is big, it's uppercase. United States of America. Are you beginning to see a pattern of deliberate deceit and self-interest and double-speak and double-dealing? And are you also beginning to catch the drift, the motivation behind it? Let's discuss the concept of hypothecation of debt. This little gem was developed by the bankers who actually owned and ran the government services corporations doing business as the United States of America Incorporated. And as the United States Incorporated. When you hypothecate debt against someone or against some asset belonging to someone else, you simply claim that they agree to stand as surety for your debt. similar to co-signing a car loan, and as long as you make your payments, nobody is any the wiser. Normally, it's not possible for us to just arbitrarily claim that someone is our surety for debt without proof of consent, but that is exactly what Franklin Delano Roosevelt and the Conference of Governors did in March of 1933. They named all of us and all our property as surety, standing good for the debts of their own bankrupt Governmental Services Corporation during bankruptcy reorganization, and got away with it by claiming that they were our representatives and that we had delegated our authority to them to do this for us. The exact date and occasion when this happened and where it is recorded is given in our affidavit. In order to pull this off, however, they had to allege that we were all U.S. citizens and therefore all subject to the plenary power of Congress, acting as oligarchy ruling over the District of Columbia and the federal territories. They did this by abusing the public trust and creating and registering millions of foreign situs trusts, that's yours, mine, birth certificates, named after each of us. Under their own diversity of citizenship rules, corporations are considered to be U.S. citizens. So they created all these foreign situs trusts as franchises of their own bankrupt corporation, used our names styled like this, like John Quincy Adams, and placed commercial liens against our names as chattel owned by their corporation and standing as surety for its debts. A group of thugs elected to political office grossly transgressed against the American people and the American states and committed the crime of personage against each and every one of us without us ever being aware of it. Okay, make sure I'm being recorded here. Okay, they couldn't enslave us, but they could enslave a foreign situs trust named after us. Okay. That we conveniently didn't know existed, and by deliberately confusing this thing with us via the misuse of our given names, they could bring charges against what appeared to be us in our private property in their very own corporate tribunals, and so the fleecing of America began in earnest. The hirelings had our credit cards, had stolen our identities, and were ready to begin a crime spree unheralded in human history. They claim that we all knew about this arrangement and consented to it because we voluntarily gave up our gold when FDR sent his henchmen around to collect it. When, as millions of Americans can attest, people gave up their gold in preference to being shot or having to kill federal agents. They chose life for everyone concerned over some pieces of metal, and for that they are to be honored. Unfortunately, their decision gave the rats responsible an excuse to claim that Americans wanted to leave the gold standard and wanted the benefits of this New Deal and equitable exchange for their gold, their identities, the abuse of their good names as bankrupts and debtors, the loss of a loyal title to their land and homes, and their subjection as slaves to the whims of Congress. According to them, that is, those who benefit from this gross betrayal of the public trust, we all voluntarily left the republic and the guarantees of the actual Constitution behind, willingly subjected ourselves to congressional rule, donated all our assets, including our labor and property, to the public charitable trust, set up after the Civil War as a welfare trust for displaced plantation slaves, and agreed to live as slaves owned by the District of Columbia Municipal Corporation in exchange for what? Welfare that we paid for ourselves. Social Security that we paid for ourselves. The criminality of the U.S. Congress and the presidents acting since 1933 is jaw-droppingly shocking. Their abuse of the trust of the American people is even worse. They have portrayed this circumstance as a political choice instead of an institutionalized fraud scheme, and they have presumed that we all went along with it and agreed to it without complaint. Thus they have been merrily and secretly having us declare civilly dead as American state citizens the day we are born, and entering a false registration claiming that we are U.S. citizens instead. We are told when we wake up enough to ask that we are free to choose our political status. We don't have to serve as debt slaves. We can go back and reclaim our guaranteed Republican form of government and our birthright status if we want to. But that requires a secret process in front of the probate court and expiration from the federal United States to the continental United States and all sorts of voodoo in back rooms that can only be pursued by the few and the knowledgeable and the blessed. Everyone else has to remain as debt slaves and chattels serving whatever corporation bought the latest version of corporate persona named after us. So let me ask you, as members of the FBI and as U.S. Marshals, does this sound like something you want to be involved with, enforcing on innocent people, or does it sound like something you want to end as expeditiously as possible? The frauds that took root in the wake of the Civil War and which blossomed in the 1930s have come to their final fruition. Employees of the District of Columbia Municipal Corporation and its United Nations successors are being used as jackbooted thugs to throw Americans into privately owned federal correctional facilities, when those who need correction, the members of the American Bar Association and the euphemistically named and privately owned and operated Department of Justice, continue to ignore the fact that Americans do have a choice and that by the millions we are demanding our freedom from all these pathetic false commercial claims and presumptions. We're standing up before the whole world and telling these privately owned governmental services corporations to go bankrupt like any other corporation that doesn't do its job and mind its budget. These entities deserve to go bankrupt and worse. They have spent money and credit that was never theirs to spend. They have defrauded millions, if not billions, of innocent people, and they have prevented Americans from claiming their birthrights for far too long. These people, the members of Congress, and the various presidents of the numerous United States corporations, have acted as criminals. They deserve to be recognized as such. The members of the American Bar Association have attempted to wash their hands while profiting from the situation and obstructing justice. They stand around shrugging and saying, well, it's a political choice. We don't have anything to say about that. Yet at the same time, they refuse to correct the probate records to reflect our chosen change of political status when we plainly identify ourselves and enunciate our will for them. They too deserve to be recognized as self-interested criminals and accomplices to identity theft, credit fraud, and worse, which is why we have recently issued a $279 trillion commercial obligation lien against the American Bar Association, the International Bar Association, and the Department of Justice. All our assets, our bodies, homes, businesses, lands, and labor have been signed over into the public charitable trust by con men merely claiming to represent us. Then when we object to their lies and entrapment, they use the same fraud against us as their excuse for bringing more false claims against us and throwing us in jail. Enough is enough. The British monarch and the lords of the Admiralty have promoted this fraud against us at the same time they have claimed to be our trustees, allies, and friends in perpetuity. It's time to clear the way for us to politely and peaceably exit from any presumption that we are or ever were U.S. citizens, willing participants in the public charitable trust, or willing sureties for the debts of any private bank-run governmental services corporation merely calling itself the United States of something or other. Repudiate any presumption of private municipal citizenship or obligation to the District of Columbia Municipal Corporation or any successor thereof, and demand an immediate and permanent correction of the civil record to reflect our birthright status as American state citizens nunc pro tunc. As for you, as federal agents, as you have a lot to think about. For starters, who really pays your paycheck? Is it the goons in Washington, D.C.? Or does it all come from the American people you are supposed to be serving? Do you believe for one moment that anyone just lined up and gave their gold to FDR voluntarily? Do you believe that anyone gave away all their property and the guarantees of the actual Constitution for the privilege of paying for Social Security? No. Wake up and smell the Java and start doing your real jobs. If anyone complains, arrest him. We're reopening the American common law courts expressly for the purpose of settling disputes related to living people and their property assets in excess of $20 as mandated by the 7th Amendment. We, the American people, are the ones holding absolute civil authority upon the land of the continental United States, and we give you permission to arrest the members of Congress, the President, the Secretary of the Treasury, and any other politician or appointee pretending to speak for us, as to enslave us and bring false claims against us via the institutionalized fraud scheme. We want it recognized for what it is and dismantle and repudiate tout de suite any court that is caught arresting and prosecuting Americans under the presumptions just described to you, such as bringing charges against foreign situs trusts with names styled like this, John Quincy Adams, or SES-KV Trust styled like this. And you can download the PDF down below if you want to check that out. It is your responsibility. Okay, hold on. John Quincy in all in caps, or Puerto Rican public transmitting utilities styled like this, John Q. Adams. It is your responsibility to make sure that any individuals being addressed by these courts were actually born in the District of Columbia, Guam, Puerto Rico, or one of the other insular states, and that they are not ignorant American state citizens being falsely registered and railroaded. Do you understand? Is it now completely clear who the criminals are? Your actual employers and benefactors are being attacked and defrauded by criminals pretending to act as their elected representatives and accomplices in black robes who are serving as enforcers of this fraud for profit. This has been happening right under your noses. This whole circumstance has escaped broad-scale public understanding because it was being pursued by private governmental services corporations owned and operated by international banking cartels who claimed that these private arrangements were none of the public's business, despite the grotesque and far-ranging impact these cozy understandings have had upon the people of this and many other countries. Let us be perfectly clear to you that the business of these private corporations has become our business because they have operated in violation of their charters, in violation of the treaties allowing their existence, and in violation of the national trust. The American Bar Association and the Internal Revenue Service have both been owned and operated as private foreign bill collectors and trust administrators by Northern Trust Incorporated, in violent conflict of interest. They are not professional associations, non-profits, nor units of government. They are con artists and privateers whose licenses expired as of September 1st, 2013. The United States Marshals Service is enabled to act in the capacity of constitutionally sworn federal marshals, and we invoke their office and service as such. Failure to accept the public office means rejection of all authority related to us. The same may be said of the FBI. Either you do your jobs as constitutionally sworn public officers, or you act as private mall cops in behalf of the offending corporations, and under color of law when you pretend to have any public authority or function. This is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Judge Anna Maria Reitzinger, Alaska State Superior Court. Thank you so much for this letter. Lovely letter. Wonderful to hear an eye-opening, awake and aware judge actually going after these guys and having them wake up as well. Wonderful work. And another thing that you can add to that is ask them, please provide a proof that you even have a business license, a tax registration certificate, anything, a certified internal forensic internal audit of these accounts in accordance with IFRS, and IFRS is International Financial Reporting Standards. GAAP is Generally Accepting Accounting Principles, Basel III, and Unital Conventions. And the comptrollers know exactly what you're talking about, by the way, because I did have a question from somebody asking, well, how are they even going to know what the heck that is? Those abbreviations are. Oh, they know. Believe me, they know. I know exactly what you're talking about. And it would be awesome to maybe even print this letter out along with a copy of your UCC1 when you do the package, when you do the e-course, and send that over to them. Send that over to the courts. I would do that. Send a copy of that, the UCC1 and that, And that's all you need to do. You don't even have to let them know anything else. You don't even have to prove yourself or, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a sovereign, you don't have to do any of that. But once you get your package done to relieve you from all this fiction, we believe in creating a security agreement, which is the collateral, which is the lien itself, because it is a document, a contract between you and the government franchise, making a contract saying, hey, anything that the individual owes, let's say that, okay, I was in a contract with somebody and they owe me 10 grand. So we make a contract, and then I would put their house as collateral, or maybe their car as collateral, on my UCC registration, and saying, if you don't pay me this, then I'm going to take your stuff. Well, basically, they've already done a UCC 1 on all of us. They've already done this on all of us, all of the Americans. And that's why we step our game up a notch, which is claiming that we're non-adverse. We're not here, we're peaceful warriors. We're not here to fight. We're not at war with you, protected by The Hague and Geneva. And we're the ones waving that white flag, saying that we are not at war with you, which brings us to a higher level, above the UCC 1. Okay, so it's above that. We need to move that status up. But this is something I wanted to share with you all, give you a background on. There's a judge that's open-minded, that's awake, and is addressing these issues. Okay, so it's no longer a conspiracy. It's no longer a conspiracy between the patriots, or a conspiracy theory. That's something that we're just talking about, to get everyone paranoid. This is an absolute fact, everybody. And you have the choice to make that decision. Do you want to remain as a debtor slave? Or do you want to take your power back, take your estate back, and put that under your collateral on your UCC 1 and become a secure party creditor to take back that credit that was wrongly stolen from you all? The credit is in your signature, by the way. It is now in your signature, because they have already taken the gold and silver and all that away from us, which was our ability to pay for the debt, for the public debt, according to House Joint Resolution 192. Look that up. It is our insurance when they took everything away. Look that up. So I just wanted to share with you a little input of why being a secure creditor will benefit you. It will protect you. It will protect your family. It will protect everything that you think you own, such as your car, your house. You think you own it, but you don't. When you put that under as collateral, you're taking that power back from them. And instead of paying with FRN funny notes, you just pay with your signature. That is the awareness, because you are already a creditor thanks to your birth certificate. Your birth certificate is worth millions to billions of dollars, or billions of credit, billions of credit. All you have to do is sign away, and you can use the IRS to be your buddy. When you let them know who you are and what your status is, they will respect you. They will honor you. I have many students that are having success with that, knowing how to discharge their debt using just their lovely signatures in the UCC 1 and sending it to the IRS, and not having to fight with them, just letting them know who we are, making a stand, and just say, hey, can you please handle these accounts for us? You don't need to pay for anything anymore with an FRN notes when it comes to debt, public debt. You could just sign it away. Okay. So just wanted to share that this is why it's so important. And what we are offering are 3 packages. Okay, the 2 packages. The first is the gold package, which we do the service for you. We do packages 1 and 2. The first one goes to the U.S. Treasury in Puerto Rico, where we compile all your documents. We just prepare them for you, and you would have to go and get them notarized, signed, recorded, and so forth. And we have an option to file it for you online, but that would be for an extra fee, which is $50 plus the fee of the state that you wish to get it filed in. However, we would give you the jargon on the template, let's say put the lingo on the template, where you can actually go ahead and file it on your own. That's up to you. Certain states, it depends on what the fees are. In California, it's $5. Washington State is like $12 or $18. I know it went up to $18, I think, just recently. Maryland is like $200. So every place is kind of, there's different fees for different states. So basically what you're doing is you're putting the birth certificate name that was wrongly created, okay, against you, and put it under as collateral to take it back. And basically, you know, you're not just here to take it back and take off with a credit and run off. It's more of taking it back to say, hey, I'm going to handle this, no problem. I'm going to discharge the debt. Like the CEO that, you know, like the CEO of your own company, the owner of your own company, which is your corporation that's in your name, that's in all capital letters. That's what it is, okay? So that's what we teach. So that's the gold package. And then when you get your green card receipt back from, you know, Puerto Rico, then we move on to the second package, and that is the package to notify Vital Statistics that has your birth certificate to let them know, hey guys, guess what? We are no longer a debtor. We are a secure creditor. We upgraded. Okay, we upgraded to a different status. That's all we're saying. And if you have any issues, debt, whatever that you think that we owe or that is under that name, we can definitely discharge it. Not a problem. Just sign away your signature, and we show you exactly how to do that. So this package, the gold package, is the full service, everything. So we do help you with the second package as well to get it all prepared for you, so that way you will be the one sending it. You're going to be sending it to these places, one to U.S. Treasury in Puerto Rico and one to Vital Statistics. But we walk you through it. If you have any questions, we can definitely schedule an appointment, which is one session to walk you through if you're like stuck via Skype or phone. And also included is the recent webinar that we did for December, and it walks you through everything from the history, how we got here, how to invest your money, where to put your money, as I was talking about earlier about gold and Bitcoin and all that, and how to walk you through each document and what each document represents, what it means, and how to put it together on your own if you wish to do it that way as well. But it is included in the service, okay? And it is like 6 training videos. We have 6 training videos on there, which is very, very helpful. And plus, you will be enrolled in the private group on sovereigngods.ning.com. That is our forum, but you would have to PM me, you know, instant message me on sovereigngods.ning.com and let me know that you've signed up for the service or the e-course, and we can get you into the private forum, which is wonderful. So that way you can communicate with all the other students and, you know, just kind of go back and forth with each other with the processes and the new processes that you're using, or the older ones or whatever, to see what successes that you have. Okay, going on to the silver package. Now the silver package is we just do the package 1 for you, which goes to the U.S. Puerto Rico, U.S. Treasury in Puerto Rico. We just do that package, and then you will still get the e-course, and you'll get package 2, but you're going to do the package 2 by yourself. You're going to fill it in and everything, and that is a different price. Okay. We also have the recorded webinar e-course, again, that we've done in December, and you could just purchase that alone. It is a do-it-yourself package, and you will do it by yourself. You will do it on your own. You follow the 6 the sessions, the video training, and it will have all the documents that you need, and you can download it from there as well. Okay. So we're trying to make it easier for everybody. If you want our service, yeah, you pay a certain amount. If you want, you know, just to go for the e-course, the latest recorded webinar, you can just do that as well. And it will definitely protect you. We are having a lot of successes, especially with taxes. We're having a lot of success with taxes, tax issues, student loans, car loans, foreclosures, and not even foreclosures, just dealing with mortgage anyway, because I'm teaching my students how to handle the debt as a secure creditor, saying, hey, I'm here to handle it, not a problem, because I know who we are. Well, you can definitely start walking on the private side in a very safe manner, because I do get a lot of questions, and if you do have a lot of questions, by the way, you can find it on our FAQ page, FAQ. Okay, and then a lot of the questions will be answered for you, no problem. But basically, if you're going to go to jail for using this, are you afraid? They're going to come after you. And no, they won't, because the way that you're operating is a very peaceful manner, letting them know, hey, I know the fraud, I'm aware of it all, and it's fine. I'm not here to start a bunch of crap with you guys. I'm just here to take back what is mine, and I'm here to discharge any debt that is under that corporation. I'm here to be in harmony and alignment with you all, and just take care of the debt, and let's move forward with this, okay? It's all good. Not here to fight with anybody. So as long as you have that attitude, then you're going to be fine. But if you go in there fighting with them and operate as an adversarial party, going into court, constantly going into court and fighting and playing the surety of that corporate name, and not and just saying, yeah, I'll pay the debt, and then turn around and try to discharge it like that. I mean, you have to realize it's like you're coming into your own I am presence. This is something that is within you, and I can't teach you that. I can only teach you the tools, but this is an awakening, an awareness within you that you have to come within and say, you know what? I know what's up now. I'm not going to go to court. I'm not going to, if you want to go to court, do it this way. This is what one of my students told me. It was really interesting. Next time they ever ask you to go to court, all you got to do is send in a copy of your birth certificate. Just send it that way. Here's my birth certificate. Okay, now discharge the debt, whatever. Here's my UCC1. Don't ever go into court. Don't ever bring your physical body into court, because that's what they want. And they know that when you do that, they got you. You have entered into another contract, and these contracts are very invisible. When you abide by them like that, you walk in and you're saying, yes, I am surety, for this birth certificate. No, you just send them a copy, which is lovely. You send them a notice and a notice statement, which is part of your second package, plus the UCC1. You would send them a notice statement letting them know, hey guys, this is who I am. It's all good. I'm just putting you on notice, and then all the debts that I have to discharge is going to be with the IRS or the local treasury, because they deal with my private banking. Because back in the day, we had our own treasury that had our treasury notes, not FRN notes. The FRN notes are drug money. This is private money coming from a private institution. It has nothing to do with America. Did you know that the United States doesn't have their own currency? We don't. We used to, which was the treasury notes that was backed up by gold and silver, and it was redeemable. The FRN notes, they're private, and it's an IOU note. So you have to wake up, guys. Wake up, okay? And we're also offering, again, by the way, if you want to purchase a package, you don't want to use the FRN notes, not a problem. We're also taking Bitcoin and BitGold, by the way. We're taking digital currency now. Isn't that lovely? So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you all. You want to check out our package. You would love to free yourself from this false fraudulenthood of the corporations. Go to securecreditor.com. securecreditor.com. And if you have any questions, my support team would be very happy to answer any questions that you have, which is securecreditor@gmail.com. You all have a lovely New Year's, and things are going to, it's going to be wonderful this year. A lot of awakening going on, and a big change, a big shift is happening. I also heard something, I don't know if it's true or not, something coming out of Queen Elizabeth's mouth, I'm not sure, but supposedly anyway, her and the Vatican are saying that this year is going to be unrecognizable. It's going to be something major is going to happen, but they took it as very negative and startling. I took it as very good for us. But it's going to be very unrecognizable. And it will be the last Christmas that they'll ever have. The last Christmas, she actually stated, supposedly anyway. You had to look at her face and her, her appearance and see, if it's true or not. But they ended up clipping that out, is what I heard. This is her speech that she did on Christmas. That was the last Christmas. So I believe, meaning it is the last Christmas, because it's all part of fraud anyway. Christmas is part of fraud, is a fraud. It's all fraudulent. All of our beliefs, everything, so they can dumb us down to control the world. Okay? All right, so I'm Dr. Reverend Joanna Johnston, coming to you from beautiful Baja, California, Mexico again. And you all have a wonderful New Year's. Take care, love and light. And by the way, another webinar's coming up in February. That's right. It's not going to be secure creditor. It's going to be debt validation, just focusing on that. Other tools that you can use to widely help yourself in making a stand on what you need to do as the creditor that you are, whether you're a creditor or not. I mean, you're all creditors, by the way. You're all creditors, whether you do your paperwork or not. I'm letting you know that. You're all creditors. It's when you become a secure creditor, you become aware. You're like, hey, I know who I am now. I'm taking it back. Thank you. Okay? Love and light to you all. Bye-bye.